get some water. Now you want back in there. Hang on. You know, I'm trying to do a video here and work on a tractor there, monkey. Okay, Oscar's laying underneath the tractor, but okay, guys. I'm gonna drive my point home again about Reman stuff. Okay. Devin here does a lot of his own maintenance. And of course he's busier than hell right now. He's out there cutting hay or working ground for obviously a crop rotation of some sort. I don't know if they're putting alfalfa in here or what, but anyway, he put a Reman water pump in this thing about 3,000 hours ago. 300 hours ago. Not even 300 hours did it make it. Bought it from Deere. 300 hours. Now our cam gear is ruined. He took a magnet, stuck it back in here in this channel where the water comes out and goes into the oil cooler. We're going to pull the oil cooler too. But he took a magnet and there's a whole box full of parts I'll have to show you that he dug out of there. But here's the water pump at 300 hours and there was no warning. He said it wasn't leaking. It just went. There's no impeller left in the water pump, but here's the... That's your Reman stuff there for you. And now a $300 Reman water pump is going to cost him a ton of money, you know, and downtime and everything else because of some junky, half-assed, put-together water pump. I'll show you the parts that he dug out where the water passage is going into the oil cooler. That's all the parts he dug out of there with a magnet. There's the impeller, parts of it. Part of this mechanical seal that was in there. There's bearings. What a piece of shit, man. You know? Unbelievable. He has a brand new water pump sitting there, but that's the least of his troubles right now. So here we are. You know, I did one of these last year. You remember that 9-liter PowerTech that the guys put the air compressor on and never put an air governor on? You can't really blame that one on Deere. That was a operator error situation. But I want to pull the fan hub late in the shroud. Let's do that. We got to start tearing it apart and see. I know the cam gear's, it's hammered because that water pump runs right off this gear. And you know, whatever gear it's running off of, which is the crank gear, it's probably screwed up too. I have bad news for him. It's probably not good. So that's where we're at. And we get the fan hub off, and then I don't remember. Trying to remember. I got the service literature for the engine for the 8.1 PowerTech, but I don't remember how this little gear drive. I know there's Allens right here that hold that on there, but I don't know if you pull these loose. I just don't remember how that works. I think you take these loose. Yeah, that's right. And then this center hub will slide out. Okay. Okay, so we'll use the old, probably not the most technical way of doing things, but it works. Let's get on bolt here and pull it. Now that one actually came loose. So yeah, now they're all going to come loose by hand. So most of the time they don't do that. Most of the time they turn the whole engine over. But of course I'm videoing it now, so nothing will work out the way it usually does. You guys ever work on very many of these older 8000 series? If you ever had to pull this pipe out of there, you just realize how much fun that is. It's just oh, makes you so happy. That bolt's not going to come all the way out of there, so let's see if we can get on this other one and see if it'll come out. Sometimes you can get the go on the other side and push on it. Yeah, they're all going to come out now. Okay. Well, that's all right. I'm actually going to turn it clockwise a little bit so I can get this one out. Got to get this thing apart and figure out what all we're gonna need, and then I gotta get my butt over to Merrill, or actually Yana Valley is what they call it, and put that spring in that cab over potato truck that they're actually harvesting garlic with right now, and get that done so they can add a truck to the fleet out in rotation. This morning I'll tell you what I've done. I started videoing, but it's just so chaotic I just couldn't keep up with the videoing process. I thought this would be a good one to video. I started out at the house of the International 9900i heavy haul truck. Before I left, he brought it in the day that I left. And I looked at it real quick and I diagnosed it as a throttle position sensor. And he ordered one, and it wasn't going to be until it didn't show up till Friday, last Friday, and I was gone till Monday, this Monday. We didn't land at the airport till 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. But anyway, I can get that bolt all the way out of there. So, all right. So now what we're going to do is take these Allens out of here. I'm trying to remember what size those are. Those are pretty good size Allens. But so anyway, I did that this morning, and I went to I got the new throttle pedal position assembly installed, and I test drove it. I came back, and then I went out to Don Low Ranch and looked at a 2015 Dodge that had a bunch of codes in it. The manager's pickup wouldn't start, had a bad connection going down to the starter. And it had a DPF needed regen. It had a force regen on it, and then it had a code for the blow-by filter underneath the valve cover needed to be changed, and it said replace fuel filter. So tomorrow I got to go back because I didn't have the blow-by filter. I got to go back tomorrow, and we got to put a new blow-by filter and such in it, and new fuel filter, and that one will be done. And then I went out and looked at a Kenworth that had, don't really know what was wrong with that one. It threw a whole bunch of circuit codes, but Joe was telling me it was a Kenworth. It had the older PACCAR, with the individual pumping plungers in it. I'm trying to remember what size. Let's see, I need this set here. And he said that the road that he was on, and I know what road he was talking about too, that is one rough son of a bitch. And he said, yeah, he got on that road, and he said it was just beating him to death. And then the code came up, and I said it probably was shaking the ECM and shaking all the connections on it. So that's one thing about washboarded roads. These newer engines and things are not made for that kind of stuff. That's one thing where a mechanical system kicks electronics ass. Must have smudged that or something. It doesn't look very good on my end here. That's better. Yeah, somehow I smudged it. But then I went and looked at a 7330 Premium John Deere and found a broke wire on the crankshaft speed sensor and fixed that. And then it had a rail pressure code, and then found that the rail pressure relief valve was stuck wide open. So I ordered one of those. We didn't have one. Darn it. Let me come around this other side. Maybe, can I? How am I going to do this? I need to get turned over to the next hole there. I wonder if I can kind of jerry rig a couple bolts or something in here and put a bar or something in there and pry it around to the next hole or something. Let's try it, huh? See if the Napa screwdriver holds up, see if it'll break. I'm not liking the way it's feeling, it's flexing. Let's see if we can do something like this, maybe. There we go. Damn, I'm not having much luck here, huh? Probably should have took them bolts out when I was turning it over to begin with, huh? That'd probably been the smart thing to do. We'll get her, we'll get her. Okay, let's see here. I better not go in them threads right there. That's probably not such a smart idea. Okay, I can get to that one. Go over further. Let me get to that one. I sure like that Alaska, you know it? I sure like that place. My wife says, she knows me. You always hear about all these people that can't handle Alaska and they can't handle, she knows me. She knows I'd be happy just living out in a deer tent. It wouldn't bother me any. Winters would be a little hard on her, so she probably wouldn't like it. But I don't know. I built up such a business here. I hate to walk away from this because I mean I've worked hard to get where I'm at here, you know. So I'd hate to ever just walk away. Wouldn't really not that easy. Yeah, see that's spinning inside that. That hub's threaded. And now we pull. What's going to be the easiest way to do this? I think it'll be lighter if we pull off one piece at a time. Let's pull this bottom row of bolts off of here. These down here, we'll pull these and see if we can wedge that off of there. Okay. I have a bar here somewhere. Loose. Damn it. In there. It's stuck on the dowel. Never been off, I'm sure. And this pipe is always right in the way of everything you're doing on these tractors. That pipe is like a real big thorn in your side when you're working on one of these. She's being real ornery with me. There it goes. Now it closed back up on me over here. There we go. A tight fit. I do remember it being fairly heavy. Get out. Let's go ahead and get this out of our, well, we'll just leave it in there for now. I don't remember if I gotta pull that shroud and all that off or not. I don't remember. But we gotta get this bracket here off. So let's get that off. I know it's hard to see with that hose right there in the way, but it's about the best I can do. Yeah, these guys here have had a rough year. Dad was telling me one of their wells, irrigation wells. Everything out here, this is not dryland farming. No, this is irrigated alfalfa. They lost that. What I have to explain myself. Kind of. The terminology is a little bit different from place to place. It seems like some people call it a soft start. I gotta take that off. I'm going to take that bracket off of there, that hose. Forgot about that. And some people call them a frequency drive, but basically what it does, in the old days, you had a panel and you had what they call a big circuit breaker that fed the power from the power line into your, basically powered your panel up. And then you had what they call a starter coil, a starter relay. And that starter relay is what actually, when you turn the switch to on, you hit the start button, that starter relay would latch, and that would send 440 volts to your turbine motor or your booster pump motor, which could be 50 horse, 100 horse. Well, anyway, I am looking for my Allen wrenches, and I don't. I'm thinking that one, well, This vintage of deer could be metric or SAEs. Not sure which one it is. But anyway, that being said, they lost the freak drive. The freak drive, the thing the freak drive does, instead of you pushing the button and that booster pump starting on full demand and full RPM, there's a pressure transducer in the line, and that pressure transducer tells the freak drive computer to gradually speed up the motor because the demand charges aren't so crazy, and it saves these farmers a ton of money on power cost. I guess I'll leave that out for right now, but I'm gonna have to, this one down here is going to be a real rotten pain in the ass. So they lost the freak drive, which is very expensive. That was 40 grand, 40,000 bucks. A lot of you guys don't realize that aren't in this kind of game, that you've worked for somebody else your whole life or what. You don't realize what a lot of this stuff cost. And I'm not running you down, I'm just telling you, you just don't understand the amount of cost that goes into this equipment and making sure that you eat every day. There's a ton of cost into this. These guys aren't getting rich because there's so much overhead. Breakdowns like that cost you a fortune. I don't know how many of you guys have pulled these couplers off the end of these dampers, but this is like probably, I don't know, I've probably had to cut 50 of these off in my career. The bolts won't come loose from the rubber. They're stuck to the rubber. They'll come out of the damper, but they're stuck to the rubber, and they just twist the couplers, all they do. So you got to cut them and then get them out here and heat them and get the bolts out of them or beat them out, or they're a pain in the ass. Alright, so let's see. These out of here. On. Hopefully that didn't do what I think it did. And I rounded it out. Alright. So hopefully I didn't have my head up my ass when I was working on those pumps and I pulled that yoke off, and hopefully I put my T-bar puller back in the toolbox where it belongs. He just kind of laid down wherever. I've already stepped on him once. I didn't see him there, and damn Oscar just kind of, he don't really give a shit. He just kind of lays down wherever he wants. Alright, so we got the damper broke loose. Trying to get my ratchet off there. Now I think I can get this gear wrench on there, maybe make it a little bit easier. The only thing that I don't like about Deere on their engines is these pressed-on crank dampers. I mean, I wish they'd just bolt them on there like Cummins or Cat, you know, or Detroit. I just never understood why they needed to press them on there. Yeah, maybe I could have left the ratchet on there. This ain't gonna be as good as I thought, I guess. Well, Thought I was cutting a fat hog there, but that sucks. I don't want to get out too far where I can't get this ratchet off. Well, I shouldn't really. She should be coming off there. It just makes it a real pain in the ass getting these. That's what I did. I couldn't remember how I got this bracket off around this pipe. I took this off, and then I could pull the bracket off. So you got to wedge that. When you put it back together, you got to wedge this in there, and then put your damper on. I ain't gonna lie, I've cut these pipes in two before and put a hose in between it. If you've never taken one of these pipes off before, you just don't know what you're you just don't know what you're up against. The old glove's not really doing much good anymore. Oh man, did that cut me right there? We should have kept that glove on, huh? Pull hard enough till your asshole sucks buttermilk. Man. Then we can get that outer cover off and see what the damage is. See what else we got to order, I think. Or can I get that off? I don't remember. I don't remember. I think you can. Yeah, you should be able to get that outer cover off. Just the whole way. I mean, that's the way they are. They don't get easier, those dampers on these John Deeres. They're hard the entire way. Thread the puller. I had an old steering wheel puller I bought from an OEM one I bought from AutoZone that had some really long 3/8 bolts in it. I had some metric bolts that would fit in there, but see, John Deere back in this vintage of tractor, they would mix them up and use metric on part and SAE on other parts. So kind of a pain, you know, when they mix them up like that. You either do one or the other. You know, I'm a mechanic. If I ain't bitching, I ain't happy. That sucker, that's an OTC 522. That sucker's made its worth its weight in gold. USA made with global parts. They can't even completely make a T-bar puller. That's where we're at in USA. We can't even make cut out a chunk of iron with some threads in it. We got to globally source all the pieces and put it together in the United States. Okay, whatever. And all this stuff, this dependency on other countries is really starting to show now. That's why you can't get any parts. They're going to have to learn the hard way. Alright. Now you got to pull 4 bottom pin bolts here. Actually, 3, huh? Is there one in the corner, or what's the deal? I don't think there's one in the corner. I think there's actually 3 that we gotta, well, no, there's 4. There's 4 bolts there, and then these here. Get that cover off of there. I use this new tool the Heavy Wrench sent me, their YouTube channel. And I think that's what that's for. That's what we're going to use it for, but man, I got home vacation and this was in the mail, so yeah, very, very much appreciated. Thank you. I gotta get, I'm gonna have to get it down here too. It's gonna spring back on. Yeah, it's really nice stirring them apart out in the dirt. We'll have to put this back on there, and we don't have a choice to try to keep, we just got to see what we got to order. You know, it's kind of where we're at. Oh, camshaft sensor. Let's pop that out of there. I'm gonna use this key right here. Okay, let's see what we got to order here, guys. What all did it destroy? So we definitely know that this cam gear is wrecked. I got to get this rag that's wound up in there now, but I ain't too worried about it right now. I'm going to get that rag out of there when I pull that gear off. The cam, I don't think I can get that gear. There are no puller holes. Can I? I gotta get in the service manual. Can I get that gear off of there without pulling the cam? Can I get my big 3-jaw puller? I know I can. I did that one last year. I know I can. I can get my big 3-jaw puller on there. I'll get it on there somehow. I might have to heat this gear with the torch. I'll get it off of there. The inside gear looks okay. The question is, did it tear the crank gear up? Because this gear's torn up. What does the crankshaft gear look like? Yeah, shit, we're gonna have to change this crank gear. It's got the corner of the tooth off of it right there. Son of a gun. So much for that. Has that got a wear sleeve? That's got a wear sleeve on the crank. That'll have to come off. So I guess I'll call and order the crankshaft gear. I'm gonna have to get the HRW number off of the engine. So we need a crank gear and a cam gear. He's already got the cam gear, I'm pretty certain. I think that's what's in here. I think he already went over and got the cam gear for me. But he didn't get a crank gear. He didn't know because he couldn't see it, so. That's the new water pump. I don't think he went and got the gear yet. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know what he got and what he didn't get. That's the cam gear. Okay. Yeah, he didn't get the crank gear. We're gonna have to, let me get on the phone and get a crank gear coming. I'll have to throw that cover back on there and then come in whenever that's probably gonna be a couple days now. But I can do everything right here. There's not much to this gear train on this engine. There's just a, you basically got your water pump driving this gear. And then the inner gear, I'm trying to remember what that inner gear runs. Oh, the inner gear runs the injection pump drive gear. So, okay, well, darn it. I was kind of hoping we wouldn't see anything there, but I know, you know, you looking at all this shit here, you know that it's not going to be good. I'm going to pull the oil cooler off, but I don't want to open any more up out in the field here than I have to right now. Let's get this end done, get it resolved. I'll have to come back, get this gasket cleaned up, all that good stuff. I'm gonna get on the phone before they close over there, get the crank gear coming. Alright guys, that's is what it is. I might see if I can put a bolt in there and turn this crank backwards and pull this rag out of here and then put the cover back on it. We'll shove a rag in this hole to plug that up, and we'll shove a rag in this hole, and that should pretty well keep most of the shit out of it. Well guys, I was going to add on to this video just to show you what I just bought, and I got a killer deal on it. Okay, I bought all this stuff for $2 grand. Let me turn this around where you can read it. This is a Kent Moore. Both of them are Kent Moores, but this is the one. This is a PT 2050D. And what that does, if you look up, just Google PT 2050D, and you buy these brand new for $7,000. And that, I got all this for $2,000. And I'll show you. What this does, this will actually bore the counter bore out when the engine's been counter bored too many times. This actually will put a sleeve in it. Now you got to put the sleeve in there. This will cut it and put the sleeve in, but you still have to go back with a cutter and cut the counter bore. Let me get this out of here. I'll show you. Yeah, this is pretty neat. Some of the spacers with the part numbers, Kent Moore, yeah. Cool. And this literature in here for it. We'll have to read up on this stuff. And this is the actual count. This is like the, I'm pretty sure this is a 2050B, I think. Here's all the, you stick these in the cylinder there when you're cutting, catches the shavings, but I think this is a 2050B, I think. Yeah, let's see here. I was trying to find a number on it. I think this is a B cutter CB300 Porta tool. I'll have to look that up. CB300 Porta tool. Let's go with Kent Moore. What do you want, girly? What do you want, girly? CB300. I was just gonna see 300. That doesn't really tell me. What's, oh, wait a second. Here's the model. Here's the tag right here. PT 2250L. Huh. Okay, that's an L. Not really sure about that. I'll have to look that one up. But I mean, let's just look it up over here. I'm just kind of curious, guys. PT 50L. Counterbore 2, there's a B, there's a B, there's a B. I'm not seeing an L. What you want, girly? I'll have to do a little more research on the L. I'm kind of familiar with the B's and stuff, but not the L. I mean, you buy a brand new B, you're looking at two grand. So technically, that's about $9,000 worth of stuff there, really, if you bought it brand new. I just really couldn't pass it up. I'll have to figure out how to get that in there. But here's all the cutter heads and different cutter heads. Some of them are cat. I'd have to look this up. 5.5 inch new head. NH, I bet you that's Cummins. 20 flange. What's this one here say? Not sure. What's this one say, Lulu? PT 2000-207. Don't know what to look up all these numbers and see what I got, but there's 3 cutter heads right there. Here's some more. It's got to be like the sleeve installer or something there. Huh. Not sure. I have to look up all these numbers and see what they do, and not familiar with that stuff there. Some spacers. We'll get it all figured out. That way I don't have to have people cut my counterboards anymore. I can do it myself. Now, some of the mid-stop liners on the newer stuff, I don't think this is going to work on. I'll have to buy another tool. And here's, I know this is, I was reading something, this sets up this goes with this. So does this. This whole setup here goes with this PT 2250D. But there's a 0 to 6 inch start mic right there. Some measuring device there. Oh, that'll measure the inside diameter, almost like a telescoping gauge. Here's another one right here. That's just an addition. You can add that onto that one, I think. Or yeah, actually I think that'll go on to that or something. I'm not sure. Huh. Oh yeah, that'll screw onto there. Here's the cutters. Here's a bunch of the cutters right here. Honolulu. Here's some more cutting heads. Oh, okay. Well, these are labeled here. So this is a 3300 series driver guide. Cat 3300 series deck sleeve driver. This is the 3300 series deck sleeve cutter. So the old 3306s and stuff, I can do those, which there ain't a whole lot of those around. There's still quite a few of these around here, but this is 3400 series, so a guy could do 3406E. This one here says Cummins on it. Is there anything below this? This says Cummins oversized counterbore depth cutter. Here's some more. Cat 3400 series deck sleeve driver, and here's the driver guide. So, yeah, pretty cool, huh? Well, I gotta go find a place to make a home for it in the shop here. I'm glad that I bought it, because I got a sweetheart deal from one of my customers. Got some pretty good guys that live in this area. He was going to sell it for a lot more for that, but I work on his truck all the time, and he used to do a lot of this stuff himself, you know. For years ago, they used to have a pretty good sized logging operation, and he says, I'm just getting too old, I can't do this stuff anymore. So he sold it all to me. So anyway, thought I'd show you that.